It is the year 1878 in McCarr, Kentucky, and two families are arriving at a log cabin to hold trial. One family, the Hatfields, claimed they owned the pig that the other family, the McCoys, also claimed they owned. The judge, a Hatfield, ruled in favor of the Hatfields upon the testimony of a man named Bill Stanton. Stanton was killed by the McCoys 2 years later. The Hatfields resided in West Virginia and were led by a man named William Anderson, or Devil Anse Hatfield, and the McCoys resided on the Kentucky side of the border and were led by a man named Randolph, or Randall McCoy. The families fought on opposite sides of the Civil War, with a Hatfield supposedly killing the previous McCoy patriarch, Asa McCoy, and the trial over the hog was the first battle of the greatest family feud in U.S. history. Around 1880, in a local election in Pikeville, a relationship began between the son of the Hatfields' patriarch, Johnson Hatfield, and one of the McCoy daughters named Rosianna. The relationship ended with Johnson being arrested by the McCoys on bootlegging charges. Johnson's father, Devil Anse Hatfield, organized a party to rescue his son upon being told by Rosianna. The Hatfields surrounded the McCoys and took Johnson back to West Virginia, despite betraying her family for them. Johnson left Rosianna pregnant and married a different McCoy named Nancy in 1881. In 1882, during another election day in Kentucky, Ance's brother Ellison was stabbed 26 times and put into critical condition with a final gunshot by three of Rosianna's brothers. While the constables, who were Hatfields, arrested the three, Ance had organized a posse and intercepted the authorities, bringing the three McCoy brothers to West Virginia, where they were executed while tied to pawpaw trees upon the death of Ellison. Many of the Hatfields, including Ance, were indicted for murder, but they eluded arrest. Randall McCoy decided to meet the Pikeville deputy sheriff, Perry Klein, to discuss the Hatfields. Ance learned of the meeting and sent some fighters to ambush Randall, but they killed two of Randall's nephews instead. Soon after, a Hatfield constable named Cap and a man named Tom Wallace broke into the house of Mary Daniels, sister of Jeff McCoy, and her husband Bill, flogging Mary. Jeff attempted to apprehend Wallace but was killed by Cap Hatfield. In August 1887, two other McCoys, Jake and Larkin, arrested Wallace, but he escaped jail. Wallace was found murdered the next year. Larkin, the late Asa McCoy's brother, was murdered following an ambush by a Hatfield posse. The night of New Year's Day in 1888, Cap and Vance Hatfield led an attack on the McCoy cabin, firing on the McCoys as they slept. The McCoys returned fire, prompting the Hatfields to set the cabin on fire, forcing the McCoys out, murdering two of Randall's children and beating his wife but not killing her. The remaining McCoys fled to Pikeville. Following this event, coined the New Year's Massacre, both the West Virginia and Kentucky state governments threatened to involve the state militias, with Kentucky Governor S.B. Buckner sending Adjutant General Sam Hill to investigate the situation. A few days after the New Year's Massacre, Pike County Deputy Sheriff Frank Phillips rode with a posse to apprehend the Hatfields in West Virginia. The McCoy posse killed Vance Hatfield and began raiding Hatfield homesteads, killing 3 and arresting others. Upon hearing of Vance's killing, Ance got together his own Hatfield posse and began riding toward Kentucky. The McCoy posse, which only had 2 McCoys in it, intercepted the Hatfields near Grapevine Creek in West Virginia, and a gunfight began. The McCoys were able to successfully flank the Hatfields, causing them to retreat, but several Hatfields were captured. Following the Battle of Grapevine Creek, the Supreme Court ruled 7-2 in favor of Kentucky and the McCoys, and 8 members of the Hatfields faction were tried for the New Year's Massacre. 7 received life sentences, while 1 was hung for the murder of Randall's daughters. The trials continued until 1901. Today, people come from all over the world to rural West Virginia and Kentucky to visit historic sites from the storied feud. In 2003, representatives from the two families met and declared an official end to the feud. In the 2000s, the West Virginia government had the Hatfield and McCoy trails constructed, and a festival and marathon is held yearly in both Mattawan, West Virginia, and Pikeville, Kentucky for the respective families. Thanks for watching.